What's up, comrades? Not here, and welcome to another video. Today, we're going to be doing a review for the first season of My Hero Academia. Let's go! Plus Ultra! You know, it's been probably over a year since I did my first impressions on the series, and I told you guys that I would go back, and if I still enjoyed the show, I would go back and I would finally get to maybe review a whole season and whatnot. I'm sorry it took so long, but you know, better late than never. So we're gonna jump in, and I'm gonna give you my genuine thoughts on the first season, and then hopefully in the future, hopefully not within a year, we'll get to season 2 and then season 3. The first thing I should say about the story and whatnot is I haven't enjoyed a shonen based battle anime in a long time. The last ones that I enjoyed were ones like Dragon Ball Z, Rurouni Kenshin, and a few others. I mean, I did watch Naruto for a bit. I liked it, at least when it started out, but once it reached past the Chunin exams, I kind of lost interest. Never read any or watched any of One Piece or Bleach, so I can't give full opinions on those. They just weren't my type of shonen that I enjoyed. I guess I might go back to them at some point. But overall, I could see why this show gained so much popularity. It's an enjoyable show. It has its lighthearted moments. It has heart. It has, you know, a genuine never give up type attitude going on, especially with the main character of Deku. And the creator, Koi Hosoka, I think he really does understand what superheroes are like. I genuinely get that impression and that feeling that he knows what superheroes should be like and what they're meant to be. We don't see a lot of that with Western comics a lot, but for a Japanese creator to do this, especially when, you know, the Japanese have done so many different things with a superhero-based story. There's several different ones. Maybe we'll get into those in the future. But he seems to really get it. And, you know, you get to see... It comes from a young boy's perspective of, you know, admiring heroes so much. It's like, when you're a little kid, you can look up to people like your parents or, you know, somebody that you may know, or you might look up to superheroes. You know, some kids look up to superheroes to some extent, and, you know, it's good if you have role models that are both fictional and, you know, real. And I think that it really shows a lot of love and care to have a character who looks up to heroes. He analyzes them. Deku is obsessed. He is a fanboy through and through. He reminds me of, like, myself and others when we were young and we loved superheroes or comic book characters and whatnot, and we were obsessed about it. We would, like, go out and we would buy all the comics, or as many as we could. We'd watch the movies, watch the TV shows, play the video games. You know, that type of love and admiration for heroes. It's freaking fantastic. And initially I didn't really like Deku as much when we did the first impression videos, because if you go back, you can see that I wasn't as big a fan of him as I thought that probably some people thought I should be. But yeah, my opinion on him has changed. Yeah, he's a bit of a crybaby, but I can kind of relate to that. I'm a bit of a crybaby myself, I'll be honest. So it's not like I'm any different. So I'm going to kind of go over a few other points. I wanted to highlight some of the characters that I really liked. Like I mentioned earlier, Izuku, or Deku, is a great character. I love him quite a bit, you know, and I already said that, you know, was a big fan of him. The way that he's brave, the way that he's willing to sacrifice his own physical body to help others, even with his new power from All Might, it really, really does show that he is a true hero. There's a lot of other characters in the show, when you see them, they really do not behave like actual heroes. You know, his rival Bakugo is a good example, and we'll get to him. Some of them don't quite act like heroes, or at least not superheroes in the traditional sense. But Deku really does, you know, encapsulate what it means to be a hero and to run into danger without even thinking about it. And everything he does is purely based on his impulse. You know, saving Bakugo when he has no powers, or saving Oka, or anybody else. It's like he's willing to sacrifice his own physical body to get the job done. And you gotta admire the kid for doing that. He really needs to learn how to control his powers more. But I give him mad credit for basically being that strong of a person emotionally that he runs into danger. Bakugo is another character that we're going to highlight here because he's the main rival or antagonist kind of character for the story. He's arrogant, he's brash, he's one of the worst people in the show. It's like he behaves more like a villain than anything else. He could still, you can see he's still kind of a rival, but I do know that in later seasons there's the potential that he could go bad. He thinks that he is better than everybody else. As a character, he's hard to like. And I'm pretty sure that we'll get to explore his character a bit more. But his more loud and brash nature does at least make you remember who he is. He kind of reminds me of Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. He reminds me of Vegeta because he's loud, he's brash, he's arrogant. Yeah, he's pretty much Vegeta. Now that I'm thinking about it. He's just Vegeta. He's just straight up Vegeta. You know, prideful, angry, arrogant. And you know, and you never know, he may turn out to be a better person in the future, but right now, yeah, he's kind of a dick. Next, let's cover a couple others. I really enjoy All Might. All Might is, most of the time, he's pretty much the star of the show. He eats up the scenery like nobody's business, and he's freaking great. He inspires everyone around him, you know, not just Deku, but he inspires all the students at UA. They really love him as a teacher. And he really shows, you know, I don't want to go into spoiler territory for the end of season 1 because I wrote some of it down, but I don't want to spoil that if you've never watched the show, so I'm not going to. But he does push through a lot of his pain and his injuries because it's revealed very early on that he's actually injured and damaged goods and he can only fight for so long. But he is such a pleasure to have. He's fun, he's energetic, and you could tell that he genuinely cares for all the students, and he's inspired. He's not the only one who's doing the inspiring, but he's inspired by the other students themselves, by Deku and others. It reminds him why he's a hero in the first place, which I think is great, especially considering how, you know, kind of down in the dumps he's been because of his injury and whatnot, and he had kind of lost his way a bit, and this type of stuff reminds him, you know, why he's a hero in the first place, which is awesome. I like that. I liked Tenya and Ochiko, Deku's two friends, or Izuku's two friends. They're very nice. Tenya is the stereotypical class rep type character, but I do love that determination type of character and trying to live up to his family's legacy. That's really cool stuff. And I love that he even looks up to Deku. Even though, you know, Deku's looking up to him because, you know, he's more proper, he's got a more commanding presence. But, you know, Tenya still looks up to Deku, and that's really nice to see, you know. He's not stuck up or full of himself. he sees the reason why people would look up to Deku. And Deku pretty much, in the series itself, he pretty much makes friends with almost everybody in the class. Pretty quickly, they all love the hell out of the guy because he's, not just because of his impressive power, but also because he's just such a friendly person to be around. And Ochiko's a joy to have on screen too. She's very caring and loving. Loved her too. I'm hoping that we get more time with some of these, other characters that we're going to see. Quick notes on 2 characters that I'm going to keep an eye on for future seasons. Their teacher Eraserhead is cool. He's kind of like a vigilante kind of character. He's more works in the shadow. He's not a public figure. Basically, he reminds me a lot of Batman. He doesn't like the public attention all that much. He's more focused on getting the job done. And as a teacher, though he's intimidating and terrifying at times, he makes for a really good teacher, in my personal opinion. Todoroki is another character that I'm eager to learn more about. He doesn't get a whole lot of time to shine in Season 1. I know in Season 2 he'll get more time. I've seen enough clips and whatnot to know that he'll be having more time in the series later on. But I really like him. Out of all of the characters currently in the show, he looks like the kid who's going to be the pro before everybody else is, because he already kind of acts like a professional. He's smart, he's calculated, he knows what he has to do, and and his powers are freaking awesome. On top of that, he's got high level power, a high level quirk, and he's capable of using it effectively, which is all really awesome. I'm really looking forward to getting to know more about him and some of the other characters that I did not mention in this list. You can tell me what you think of some of these characters in the comments. Let's kind of go over the animation and the music. It's been animated by Studio Bones. They've done a really good job. I have no real complaints about it. It's consistent throughout the series that I could tell. I didn't see anything very weird or off-putting, like something was rushed. I think that, or at least my guess is that because it's only 13 episodes a season or somewhere along those lines is why it can stay consistent, because it's more compacted into a smaller number of episodes. Because a lot of shonens tend to have very long seasons or very long sets of episodes, like over 20. Sometimes they may have 30. I don't know, but it's a bit more compressed, a bit more simple or shorter, so that it's not only is it easier for new people to get into, but also it's just overall more consistent with animation and sound and whatnot. As for music is also very nice. It's very good. I enjoy the opening, or the first season opening. It's a good opening. The ending theme also is pretty good, running for your dreams and whatnot and chasing. I forgot the names or the titles of them, so you'll forgive me if I, don't remember their names off the top of my head. But they're really good songs. I would jam out to them on a regular basis. I love them. So, I'm one of those people who sometimes will skip intros and whatnot. I don't feel like skipping the intro for the first season opening. Season ending, a little less so, but I still enjoy it enough that I'd be willing to watch it. So, there are a couple negatives that I would like to address that I think are kind of important. Some of the characters who do look kind of interesting and whatnot weren't given a whole lot of time to shine or given any form of spotlight. They're kind of shown here and there, little bits and pieces, but we don't really get to know them as people or as characters yet. I do hope that will change in the, ongoing series or in the next season, and we probably will get a chance to see more of that. But as it stands right now, A little bit disappointed by that. I was also a little bit surprised that, the main villains and whatnot of the series didn't really show up until the last few episodes. So that was a little bit weird, because, of course, considering that they're in a school setting and the villains aren't supposed to show up at the school, it kind of, makes sense. But still, at the same time, I was a bit disappointed that we didn't get to see them sooner. But they will be ongoing antagonists from what it sounds like, so we'll get to see them later on in future seasons. Overall, for the season, I think I would give it a solid A+, or a plus ultra, whatever you want to say. I love this series. I want to see more of it, and I'm planning on it right after I probably go check out some other seasons of some other shows that I haven't really gotten into yet. But with that, of course, being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please, as always, do not forget to leave me a like, shoot me a comment, subscribe if you're new here. I greatly appreciate the support. And, of course, do not forget to also hit notifications so that you don't miss videos. As always, do not forget to raise your nerd flags high, and I will see you next time. Nightwolf is out.